A federal judge is letting the conviction stand against former Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan, who was found guilty of interfering with an ICE arrest inside a courthouse. A jury found Dugan obstructed ICE agents as they tried to arrest Eduardo Flores Ruiz at the Milwaukee courthouse back in April of 2025. Agents confirmed he'd been deported in 2013 and secured a warrant after he came back without permission. After her trial, Dugan argued a recent appeals court ruling in another case meant her conviction should be tossed, but the judge said that case was different. Immigration officials were just carrying out an already final deportation order. In Dugan's case, he said ICE was still in the middle of its own process.